As a teenage boy in middle or high school, what confused you the most about teenage girls? How they could form a magical, impenetrable barrier with a chatting circle. How they can argue for literally 3 minutes and hate each other for the whole year. Also argue for the day, then be best friends the next day. Or hate someone because of what they apparently said to another friend. Why the frick is the toilet their gang hideout? It's restricted access. They can talk about you as much as they want. They all wanted older guys. Like 3-4 years older. I was always jealous of the girls in my high school class who dated college boys. But then I went to college and met the type of guy who dates high school girls. Not my actual quote, but very accurate. Are you flirty by nature? Actually interested in me? Or just being friendly? Edit my first gold. Thank you. Ask another girl. IDKY. But I swear girls can sniff out flirtation from a mile away. I work in a mostly male office with 3 other girls. And one of them has a huge crush on our manager. She's never said anything. Nor are we even friends. But we know. I can't explain why it's obvious either. Just is. The dudes in the office are clueless. And I won't rat her out. But we know. What confused me the most? The giggles. Yes, the giggles of teenage girls confused me the most. Walking into class or down the hallway and a group of 3 or 4 girls would just start giggling and snickering to themselves like some sort of bad inside joke. I would always check my shit or clothing for something embarrassing but never found anything. To be honest, I'll probably never understand the giggles. From my experience, being in a girl group, it could be someone in our group has a crush on you and we're teasing her, or there's some inside joke we don't want others to hear. Like if a prof is teaching in front and we don't want to laugh out loud. How they can act super nice. Then one thing goes wrong. And they are mortal enemies all of a sudden. Then they'll talk the maddest shit about each other but turn around and be all friendly. It was kinda confusing and amusing watching my ex do this. I was an antisocial quiet kid at an all-boys school. For me it was mainly where on earth all my classmates were getting girlfriends from. Having barely any friends as a kid is fun. You could be their biggest crush and you may think they don't even know your name. And other jokes I can tell myself. Why in a class of 50 people, 35 of which were girls, I was the only guy who couldn't get a prom date. I never understood that they were just people that I could have talked to. I was too shy to make the first move at any point. So all my friends are guys since they were the ones who talked to me. I was confused for the longest time on why 2-piece swimsuits, top and bottom, are sold separately. Also for like $60 each. Because what if you need a large bottom piece but a small top piece? And what if your hips are narrow but your boobs are huge? Gotta buy the top and bottom independently. I was always confused as to why the girls weren't interested in sex and trying to obtain it at all costs like we used to. It turns out that I was wrong and girls do like sex. Turns out the problem is you being you. Honestly, how sexually active are high school girls? I feel like I was super horny in high school but not sexually active as a guy. As a girl, I was the same. Didn't do anything till college. One of my friends was a serial dater. Lost her virginity at 14 and would always have a boyfriend, about 6 months minus 1 year for each one. Most of us maybe had one BF they had sex with in high school or waited to college or later. We talked about sex salad though. Even though none of us had experience lol. Older I get the more I realize that loads of people were not sexually active in high school and I wasn't that late to the sex party. I assumed everyone lost it at 16. How all the girls who love horses are complete psychos. And none of the same girls spare a passing thought about those stupid short giraffes. Hey. I had a drunken conversation with a horse trainer once. Most of the problems stem from the fact that the industry is bullshitty and massively stresses the trainers out. The girl I was talking to is only in it for the horses and even then she's looking to switch careers as soon as possible. She said that there are stereotypical alpha BTCH horse girls, but many of them are just struggling to make ends meet doing what they love. Why do they need to go to the toilet in groups? Like, I would not be able to use the toilet if someone was in there watching me. When I was in school, decades ago, we decided that it was because one of them would hold the purses while the other ones went to pee. How come I got a call after a dance that a girl liked me, but I hear a week later, while buying lunch tickets, that she wanted to break up with me? You ever play Fallout 4? You know how you gain control over settlements just by playing the game. But they're a pain in the ass to maintain, so you just forget they exist, so like 12 hours of play later you get a Settlement X was unhappy with your leadership and left. It's just like that. How people make dating such a big deal. And how they can't ask a guy out. Why is it expected that we have to? The one and only woman I met online dating happened because she approached me first. Our first date was lunch and it was very nice. If she asks first, then you can be pretty confident that the interest is mutual. The girls never showed any interest. Fast forward to the 40-year reunion and all these girls are telling me how much they were crushing on me in high school. I left town right after high school to find greener pastures. College was a completely different story. I guess the girls there didn't have their old cliques, so they were more aggressive. Me. In high school. Driving around with some friends of a friend because I didn't know any better, and the two girls had rocks in their brains but fantastic butts. We've all been there. One of them is piecing and moaning about some boyfriend for at least 15 minutes. Without pausing for breath. Finally, she gets to the end of her rant. There's about 10 seconds of silence. Double quote. So do you think I should get back together with him? Freaking what? How can I win the affection of one of the ones with the lumpy chests? And X200B. You have a way with words. Just keep doing you. Being afraid of the ball in gym class. Like, literally huddling together in groups of girls and then shrieking in utter terror when the soft playground ball flies 30 feet over your head. Why? Why did they do this? Why did the entirety of their friend group go to the toilet when only one of them needed? Girls hug each other and friends who are boys. Girls hug boys they like. Boys are supposed to know the difference. I did not. I still do not. Luckily I'm happily married, BC. I still don't understand how to flirt and tea with girls despite people telling me I have done that. Why the larger girls did not consume the smaller ones. I went to a small school so we all knew each other, but around the time we became teens I noticed the girls became way more hateful and just all out mean in the things they'd say. Even the ones I was good friends with. Come to find out, insecurity and hormones ran rampant. Girls in my school only seemed to be interested in the popular guys. And it just baffled me. They could be really ugly, zero personality, or just straight up dumb. But as long as they were in the football team, our team were really good, they had all the influence over the girls in our school. Why girls can't ask guys out? Why do they have to make you know that they're into you? But do it so confusingly that you don't know. Until you bump into them a few years later and they ask you why you never asked them out. The girls at my middle school bullied Ali Lohan until they basically drove her to attend private schooling. The girls, once caught, just made the scene by hysterically crying. Pretty sure nothing happened. It was wild. Edit. Edit. How they would hate each other's guts and talk behind each other's backs, but as soon as they meet up, hugs and kisses and small talk. Like what? You two are not gaining anything from keeping this up. Why bother? Fear of confrontation. What the hell do they do in their free time? This honestly still confuses me. Video games, art, reading, listening to music. And in my teenage days, a lot of time was spent playing with hair, makeup and wardrobe choices. I'm so glad I am a woman and never had to deal with teenage girls from the male perspective. It was difficult enough being one of them and not understanding their behavior. How they thought little things like wearing yellow or some shit would tell a guy they liked them instead of just saying so. I'm dumb as rock when it comes to signals, so I hadn't known any of those girls actually liked me and they all moved on now. I went to an all-boys high school, so I wasn't really in much contact with girls, and nor were my classmates. What confused me was not the girls I rarely saw, but the guys who assumed the stereotypical teenage girl roles. Stuff like really gossipy guys. Guys really into fashion. While I was playing Xbox games with tanks in. Why they are so mean. Teenage girls are some of the meanest people on this planet, and I would not treat my worst enemy with a teenage girl. Why were they so cruel to people who they perceive as below them? With guys it was always bragging. But the girls I knew always went on and on dragging people down for little things like outfits or physique or even the way someone walked. It definitely hurt my self-confidence to hear these things and realize that I was similar. I think they were insecure or something. I'm 17 years old right now and I still have the question. Why is it socially acceptable for girls to compliment a girl on their social media selfies, but not the same for guys? I can't compliment my guy friends without looking gay. Why they insisted on wearing half a tube of foundation a day. Some of them looked like they had just faceplanted into clay. The worst part was that the collars of their shirts were stained as well. Can answer this. Insecurities mostly. Over acne and stuff. There are some girls who wear it just to wear it. But for me, it was insecurities, paired with poor makeup skills. Haha. Teenage girls, teen in the early mid-2000s, were the cruelest people I've ever known. Guys will call you a queer, duke it out, and be good. Girls will destroy your life. We had a group of 6 girls that would just make any new girls who threatened their popularity, life a nightmare, making up harsh rumors, extreme verbal abuse in public, etc. But it never got physical with the 6 beaches. But it was psychological. They will say something only slightly passive-aggressive to you. If you don't pick up on it and do what they want, bam, they're mad at you. Every girl knows what it is. No guys do. Why they were so quick to decide they hated another girl. As a guy, if I made a new friend that was a girl and introduced them to my other women friends, they could somehow collectively decide that my new friend was unacceptable and completely go cold to her in a matter of a minute. A lot of girls I knew always seemed to find their way into drama, even when they tried to avoid it. But the most annoying part is that most of the time it was just petty shit, and often friend groups would gradually split due to this. Never made sense to me. Very over the top emo. Never really had these kind of issues with guys in my experience. They treat dating so casually but always talk about their boyfriends so highly and emotionally and then break up with them the next day to date someone else and then say they are the ones who are heartbroken. It's weird to me. Probably just my experience because I was hanging out with the wrong people, so I doubt this is super common.